So let's do another problem where we find all the zeros of a function. This one is a cubic function, so we could have 3 or less roots. That means you have 3 or less zeros or x-intercepts where it crosses the x-axis. So we're going to use the rational zero theorem. I'm going to list all the factors of -3. That would be plus or minus 1 times plus or minus 3 over all the factors of 1 in front. That's just plus or minus 1. Now, if I put 1 over 1, I get 1. So plus or minus 1. 3 over 1 is 3, plus or minus 3. I have 4 numbers to try. Positive 1, negative 1, positive 3, negative 3. Now in this case, I know that using Descartes' rule of signs, sorry about the dog, I've started this video over 3 times, so I'm not going to do it again. Using Descartes' rule of signs, I know I have 1 possible positive and I have 2 or 0 negatives. So I'm going to start with negatives and see if I get lucky. So I'm going to try -1 first. Okay, now let's set up our synthetic division. We have 1x cubed, 7x squared, 11x, and a -3 on the end. Okay, we have all of our x's represented. 3, 2, 1, none. 3, 2, 1, none. So I don't have to put in any zeros. So now let's bring down the 1. And then -1 times 1 is -1. 7 minus 1 is 6. -1 times 6 is -6. 11 minus 6 is 5. -1 times 5 is -5. We have a problem. Okay, so -1 is not a root because we didn't get 0 on the end. Let's try another one. So this time, let's try -3. See if that one works. Okay, so let me put my 1, my 7, my 11, and my -3. So let's bring down our 1. -3 times 1 is -3. 7 minus 3 is 4. -3 times 4 is -12. 11 minus 12 is -1. -3 times -1 is a positive 3, and that ends up with 0. Yay! So this one is a factor. So let's put this back with our x. That's going to become x plus 3 times, remember if you start with cube, this would go down 1. This would be x squared. This would be your x. So that's going to leave me 1x squared plus 4x minus 1. Now we have to factor this part. Now the bummer is that this won't factor in our head. We are going to have to use quadratic formula. So let's go up here and do a little review on quadratic formula. Remember, it is -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so remember, I'm just doing this piece right here. The other's already factored. So my a is equal to 1. My b is equal to 4. And my c is equal to a -1. So let's plug these in and solve this. So a -b would be -4 plus or minus square root of, b squared would be 16 minus 4 times a times c. And all of that is over 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. So let's simplify this a little bit. I'm going to end up with -4 plus or minus square root of 16 plus 4. A negative times a negative made that positive over 2. And that's going to be -4 plus or minus square root of 20 over 2. Okay, so square root of 20 will reduce. This one just keeps going. So square root of 20, this is 4 times 2, okay? Or excuse me, 4 times 5. Square root of 4 is 2. So this is going to reduce to -4 plus or minus 2 square root of 5 over 2. Now remember, you look at all the numbers in the front, all of these. You don't worry about the radical, but you look at all of these. and you see if any number will go into those. And we do have a number that goes into those. 2 goes into all of them. So that's going to mean, if I divide this by 2, I get negative 2, plus or minus. 2 divided by 2 is 1. I don't have to put that. Square root of 5. And on bottom, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I don't have to put the 1 on bottom. So what this tells me is these are 2 roots. So my first root, let's go back to this one. Remember, if I do x plus 3 equals 0, I get x equals negative 3. So my first root is negative 3. My second root would be x equals negative 2 plus square root of 5. And my third root would be negative 2 minus square root of 5. So we typically just list them negative 2 plus or minus square root of 5. That gives me my 3 roots, or my 3 zeros, or my 3 x-intercepts.